It's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. In fact, it's March 29th, 2022, and this is Crime and Culture Live. I'm Tim here tonight with Lance. What's up, Lance?
Anything, Lance? Is anything up?
Oh, we're here with royalty. We're here with the man, the legend. He's been recently knighted by the Queen, and he's been given a lordship.
Hello, everyone.
Let it breathe.
I think you're going to get a copyright strike any second now.
From Jesus?
Yes. Oh, wow. What an intro. Wow. That was, I'm amazed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's wonderful
Yes.
being here. I just want to clear a few things up. I have not been knighted yet. It has not happened, but yeah.
I hereby knight you with my pencil.
Well, now it's official. Thank you.
There we go.
The Lord John Lorden is here with us tonight for Crime and Culture. Welcome, John Lorden. The chat room is going. If you're out there and you're wondering, where's this chat room? You can toggle your butt on over to youtube.com/crawlspace. And that is where all the action is at tonight. While you're there on the YouTube, might as well toggle your butt over to youtube.com/LordenArts and subscribe to this handsome SOB's channel as if you don't already subscribe.
And if you haven't subscribed, like, what is going on?
I don't know. Like, the buildup on all this is crazy. Like, I'm starting to get nervous now. Like, I have to deliver something.
Just
Okay,
wait till
thanks, everyone.
CrimeCon.
Yeah.
Well, I might have something. You know, I've been working in the space 7 years. You guys have been working in the space, what, about 8? Somewhere around there?
800.
8,000
years.
Mm-hmm.
And we have all this amazing technology now. We've got, AI that can figure out what we want. So I've been working on an algorithm to try to increase my subscribers over on my channel. And the computer has come up with this. Let me actually activate it real quick.
I am giddy with anticipation right now.
Well, you especially should be, because I want you to meet Lance Lorden. Ready? There we go.
Whoa.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lorden Arts channel. I'm Lance Lorden.
That is nightmare fuel. That's
Isn't it?
Coming out of the gate with that is really tough to keep going.
Well, you guys, you hit it so hard at the top. I knew I had to come up with something.
I'm regretting hitting it so hard at the top.
Now, truth, I actually tried to make a mask of Tim also, but when I put it on my face, we just look the same. And I don't know why. Like, nothing. Nothing happened.
Woo.
And for yours, I have to hold my face a certain way. I guess it was one of those pictures when you were doing the oxygen stuff. And you were kind of looking down at the camera. So I have to kind of, hold it just right.
Ginger Meadows said, did I take acid or something? Ginger, it's my face
Yes,
on
you
him. If you took acid, I don't know what I took.
Wow,
Good Lord.
It's like a digital Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I was just going to say, dude, it's like, you guys see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Good God. I've come too close to my own death.
Oh yeah, Jason Watts is in the chat. He's saying, "I've seen it all now." You have, Jason.
Well, and it's only 9:05.
Crawlspace, Lance's face massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. You took a screenshot of that, Tim. That should be tweeted out.
Yeah, I'll have to tweet that out right now.
Yeah.
Well, John Lord, as if we're gonna get anything like accomplished here tonight. This is just John Lorden, we'll get into some crime a little bit later, and obviously you do some great shows. Brain Scratch is one of them.
Mhm.
Seriously Mysterious is another. Crime After Crime is another. You're all over the place. But what I really want to know about before we get into that is, what did you think of Will Smith smacking Chris Rock?
Oh, I don't know if you guys know, but I used to work at the Dolby Theater, and around the Oscars, things would change really dramatically. I was there. There was a Cirque du Soleil show that was happening in the Dolby Theater, and when it was Oscar time, we had to literally pack up and move out. Like they get the whole building, they take the whole thing over. They've got a whole different kind of crew that comes in. It's a whole different thing, and the level of respect, like if you're working in Hollywood and down around there, like, you know, the Oscars is just like, you don't upset the Academy. So to see something like that happen, you know, like on stage like that, I don't know, man. It seemed like a pretty tame joke. I know, you know, it's. I know she's dealing with some rough things. It's always a tough joke, I think, for any comedian when you're going after anyone based on physical appearance of anything. But for him to take the stage like that, for no one to kind of act on it, like we've had stages taken before. Like we remember, you know, Kanye going up on Taylor Swift's, like we've seen this type of thing happen before. So why don't we have measures at these events to kind of, you know, someone should have just kind of beelined and like, oh, hey, Will, no, come on over here. Something around that. And interestingly, I listened to Howard Stern a little bit, and his security guy was just talking about like, how does that happen? Like just, you know, the basics of having a security team at an event like that, and thinking about something like the Oscars where it's the tip top, man. I mean, they've got everything that I mean, it's so locked down.
But even Chris Rock wasn't expecting Will Smith to hit him. His hands were like behind his back.
Yeah. No.
Well, you're with the security team. They're in place so that nothing unforeseen happens, as far as like, maybe one of the people that takes over the seats while a celebrity goes to the bathroom, right? Someone who's come in, and maybe will charge the stage for whatever reason. I can't, like, a security guard is not waiting for someone like Will Smith to stand up and smack the shit out of Chris Rock. Like they probably saw that. Who knows, like what they're told at the beginning of the event, right? They might have thought it was a bit, right, until he sat down, started yelling back, and then realized that wasn't even a bit.
Yeah. No,
they're not expecting that.
It did seem like, and I even saw the replay. I guess the replay was different on the West Coast as it was on the East. Like they cut out a bunch of the screaming. And when you look at that replay, it looks like a bit. Like it looks like it's completely staged. The whole thing's staged. But yeah, I don't know. It's.
Well, until you saw Will Smith's face and knew how serious he was. If you didn't hear him screaming, that part, you know, made it pretty clear, but it was beeped out in the East Coast feed.
Well, and being, you know, I did a little bit of stand up when I was younger, and I had a couple of rough goes on the stage. And, you know, when you hear a comedian talk and he's coming from a place of being hurt, or like he just let it down, and you know, Chris talking about, wow, I just got smacked by Will Smith, okay, and like there's this long pause and gap, and he's trying to figure out where to go next from there, and you just felt it in the room, like the whole room, just the bottom kind of fell out from it. So yeah, it's tough. I think there was a huge missed opportunity there. I think Will was trying to get to an apology in his speech, didn't quite get all the way there. It should have been really, really direct. And he could have just really laid things out and kind of tried to patch him up that night, instead of now it's spinning on, and you know, there's this person making a comment and that person making a comment.
It's so like out of control, and I can't even watch it anymore. And it went from being like kind of amusing to me to really quickly being it's like a pit in my gut to watch it now. Darlin Gardner asked why was he not immediately escorted out. There was an article that I read about that, how they were in the control booth and they were just like, what do we do? Is this was this like improv? Was it a bit? So by the time they figured out that it was actually legit, it was too late to cause the scene to escort him out. And it's Will Smith. Like that would have taken away from everything else. Like,
absolutely.
Limit the damage at that point.
You're a security person.
Will Smith out would have been the worst thing they could have done.
Even if someone would have done that, their career would be over. Like if they were a security guard and they went and escorted Will Smith out, even if they were right, even if everyone was like, yes, that's what should have happened, that person's career would still be over. They would never be taken back in. That's, Hollywood, like look at the history of Hollywood being blacklisted. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. I think that still goes on in some form, but I think it used to be a bit of a stronger culture, but everyone knows like you're tiptoeing in those situations.
Yeah.
Look at the situation that's going on with Alec Baldwin and the shooting. Like, how does that happen? Like how does a live round get put into a gun? And I don't know. There's a lot of very strange power struggles that happen already in production. I mean, you can see it just if you do community theater, you can see these bizarre power struggles that happen. But thinking about it at that level, when you've got millions and millions of dollars wrapped up on top of that, and people whose very appearance, just them showing up somewhere is a business, like is worth millions to that show, to have Will Smith on there, for him to get his award, especially at a time when, quite honestly, a lot of people are wondering, what is this Oscars thing, especially coming out of the last 2 years of the movies releases kind of being thin, and like, is this really important to us anymore?
Not as much. It's just not as much anymore.
Yeah.
I also, it was interesting that he didn't get taken out like before he won the Oscar, like 45 minutes later. What's crazy to me is thinking about like, what if the joke was about a different actor who wasn't nominated and then that happened? What if it was someone who's like, known as washed up and not like expecting the biggest night of his life? And he does that same thing. Like, you bet your ass that person would have been escorted out of there. So there's an element there that's in play that like, oh, Will Smith is a certain level here, that we're going to let him stay, even though he just abused somebody in public, he just assaulted somebody in public. And then we're going to let him continue and give a 5-minute speech when the telecast was over by 35 minutes by the time he was talking about, giving his speech, which he, I feel like, really used the Williams's sort of family dynamics in his own favor in that speech. And that was kind of really ugly too.
I wasn't super impressed by it. Like I said, I think he just missed a huge opportunity there. It could have been so direct. He could have explained his point of view a little more. He could have said, hey, you might not know this, Jada's going through some things, that isn't necessarily a fashion choice of her, and to make fun of that upset her husband. And then I came up and did something stupid. I'm really sorry about that, Chris. I owe you a drink, or, just, it could have been so like, I expect Will Smith to have a level of elegance and achievement. And, the guy's been around for so long. He's been so successful in so many ways. I don't know. It's,
this is why I was saying it's like a pit in my stomach, because at first it was mildly amusing, and then you realize how serious it was when you just hear his rage that he has in his voice when he yells at him twice. And then it just occurred to me, and it was the reality of it. One, Ricky Gervais has said way worse things about celebrities when everyone could go out to the Golden Globes without wearing a mask, when it wasn't, coming off of a global pandemic, and he could say those things and people would get upset. One of the most uncomfortable moments I've ever seen was when he was with Mel Gibson on stage, and it was so uncomfortable, but he went out there with a beer and everyone's laughing, and no one, it didn't come to blows at all. There was no violence there. I just feel like this moment between those two people is a manifestation of how much frustration and anxiety is just out there right now. I think that there's so much anxiety out there right now. And this 3 years ago wouldn't have happened. I don't think he would have stood up and walked on that stage and smacked him. I think that there's like not to get like metaphysical or anything. I think there's a manifestation of a lot of anxiety out there, and it comes out in a lot of different ways. And this is an example of that.
His speech points to that too. Like, it really seems like someone that's dealing with some stuff that they're struggling with in their personal life, or like, you know, I mean, if he's describing it, it was almost like it was an emotional break of some kind. Think of the process of yelling a few times like that. That should be a pretty big wake up call to yourself. If you're sitting in a room with all your peers at an event like that, and then you take it to the next level, you take it to I mean, how many times could he have decided to, okay, we're just going to let that roll and we'll deal with it some other way? That could have been a private conversation. That could have been a phone call between the two guys. Like,
He also kind of laughed at first, like initially he kind of laughed right before Jada kind of rolled her eyes, and you could tell she was upset and offended by the joke.
Her face was clear. Yeah, she was. Yeah. Her face was clear the whole time. Yeah,
I just want to make the point that the joke was about movies and her appearance, right? So it wasn't about alopecia. It's unclear whether Rock knew about Jada's condition, but the joke was about G.I. Jane 2. Like, that joke doesn't work if he tells that joke at the Grammys.
I mean, that joke
only works because it's a movie show.
Yeah. I mean, that joke barely works now. It's just it's really not a strong.
It's a dated joke.
It's super dated because
Jane is from the 90s.
Yeah, but it's an image that if
you've ever movie though.
Well, and if you've ever seen the poster, that's the image, right? It's Demi Moore and her head is shaved. It's very gripping, and people remember it. Yeah,
she famously shaved her head during the take. You know, that's in the movie. Yeah, her actually shaving her head. But the feud apparently goes back to when Chris Rock hosted the Oscars. The LA Times wrote an article today, and they put out some video of Chris Rock's monologue when he hosted the Oscars years ago. Mm-hmm. And Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith boycotted. They didn't show up because I guess they were upset that Will wasn't nominated for the movie Concussion, which was about the NFL, and I'm a big fan of the NFL, and I've never even seen the movie. So I'm not that surprised at that movie that he wasn't nominated for that. But Chris Rock made the joke. He's like, Jada Pinkett Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. He's like, I wasn't invited. That's what he said. So that joke has some, I'm sorry, their feud has some history there, undoubtedly.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, like, that is it. I don't know. It's got to be a tough responsibility to be the man that's supposed to get up on that stage and keep people entertained during a show that everyone knows is going to go too long, is going to be incredibly boring, and they're not going to get out of there on time. Like, it's a rough gig to start with.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
They set you up to fail immediately the second you're announced as a host.
Oh yeah.
Or a presenter. You're just told you're set up to fail. Like,
yeah.
When was the last time you watched an award ceremony and you were thinking to yourself, this person just knocked it out of the park, wire to wire, knocked it out of the park?
Ricky Gervais.
I guess.
Golden Globes like three or 4 years ago. Yeah.
I would. And when anytime he hosted.
Yeah.
Those monologues were must-see TV, and the celebrities, they knew it was coming. They looked around the room. Who's next? It's tense. Ricky Gervais smiling, drinking his beer,
doesn't give a fuck,
reveling in the awkwardness. He lives for that. I mean, one thing I think was a missed opportunity, and it wasn't the Academy's fault, but there was no chance for like Jimmy Kimmel to chime in after that happened, like he did a few years ago when La La Land mistakenly won Best Picture, where he kind of made a joke and lightened the mood. Like, there's no light, like Chris Rock kind of did, but then he stumbled through actually giving Best Documentary to Questlove, who no one was listening to his speech. That's unfortunate for him. And then Diddy comes out and does like a Godfather tribute and barely comments on it. Like, there was no comment on what happened. Right. That like the audience gave the audience the chance to decompress a little bit.
Now, weird. I just want to be clear. Spider-Man didn't win anything, right? Wasn't even nominated in anything. Or
I don't even know.
Right? I mean,
I don't think so,
the movie just crossed $800 million and could be one of the best superhero movies easily of the last 2 years, probably. Could be, for some people, it's on my top 5 list, man.
It's that good.
It's so good. It's ridiculously good. It's fun, and you get all the Spider-Man that you want, all three of them.
Why did it not win the people's the popular vote?
That's
Oscars,
a good question. Yeah.
What won that one?
I don't
They
know.
did a popular award?
Yes.
Yeah.
Through Twitter.
Yeah. It was their
Yeah.
big first.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm not sure. I didn't see that.
Probably
Does anyone in
won't
chat
be,
know
making a
who won the
comeback.
popular award?
Pan Man.
Yeah, they were.
Pan Man did. Okay, good. We have the answer.
Yeah,
When I
think,
was looking,
kind of a surprise win too.
when I was looking for pictures to do amazing things like this, but I was looking for
Ah!
I was
warn people when this happens.
Sorry. When I was looking for the picture of Tim, I found a picture of you standing next to Pan Man, which I didn't know you could be in the same room at the same time, but there you were standing right next to Pan Man.
Yeah, it's that picture's a trick.
Yes, Shannon, it talks. It talks.
No, that was the Pan mannequin that I was posing with there.
The Pan mannequin. Okay.
Yeah. We had a mannequin dressed like Pan Man.
Did either of you see a movie last year that you are just confused why it wasn't nominated for anything? I like asking those questions that really bring a silence to the conversation.
I watched because I saw the nominations, and I watched Nightmare Alley. I was like, of all the nominations I was seeing, I was like, oh, that one looks visually interesting. I'm a fan of kind of older filmmaking. Let me check that out.
Garbage movie.
It meanders, and it's weird because in the description it's like it's gripping. And I was like halfway into, I know. Maybe at the end, like the last 10 minutes of it.
There's no reason why any of those characters should have done what they did. Other than like to make a plot.
Yeah,
like,
it's just meandering kind of, this is happening and now this is happening and now I'm going over here. Like it's yeah.
Ugh.
So
what a garbage movie. I'm so glad you're on the same page as me with that.
It's been a rough couple years when it comes to movies. It's just been a rough couple years.
See, I saw after the nominations came out, didn't even think I was going to watch this movie, let alone really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I started The Green Knight just because I was like, I want to watch something that I feel like it's going to be easy. Dev Patel, it's an A24 film. It's phenomenal. And I'm just like blown away at how it wasn't even nominated for like sound or costume design, set design, something. My God, it's so good. Big recommendation.
Nominated for picture? No.
It didn't get nominated for anything, I don't think.
I think it had some buzz. Like it's apparently known as a really good movie. But yeah, I don't know why it didn't crack that the Academy's whatever top 10 or 9. They choose some weird movies. Like the Academy, the voting and the members, it's changed so much in the past few years that it's kind of hard to get a handle on why they do the things they do until the dust settles.
Yeah. I don't know if I should tell this story. It's one of my most embarrassing moments.
There's only 40 people on YouTube, which, by the way, 40 is great on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for joining on YouTube.
Yeah, everybody. Thanks a lot.
This is one of the highest YouTube contributions we've had.
Well, I'm seeing some familiar names in there. What's up, Mullet Mayhem? Good pal of the live streams.
Complete credit
here we
for
go.
this.
No. I'm just saying there might be a friend or two of mine over there.
Well, subscribe to us too, for Christ's sake.
First of all, you know those big golden statues that they have all those sweeping shots around at the awards, the ones that are out in the hallway? Those and the red carpet, they sit in a little back closet, like behind the stage. Not even a closet, it's a hallway. They just lay out in the hallway. These things that are like so grand and shot in that way.
Yeah.
They're just treated like,
plastic.
They're just props. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just go lay them down over there.
Yeah. I used to live right up the block from the Dolby as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What year?
2005, 6, 7 in that range. Right up the street, right to the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah. We just missed each other. I think I started working there just after that because I worked at TV Guide on Hollywood Boulevard before I did the Dolby job. But
very cool.
Is TV Guide a thing anymore?
I think are magazines a thing anymore? I think the website's still there.
PI Gear is a I still subscribe to that.
Don't bring up PI gear, man. Not tonight. It's every phone call with you guys. PI gear has to come up.
Oh, it's not every phone call. It's every
like
moment.
some moment. So like some deep-seated trauma happened.
No, what are you talking about, John?
We don't talk about that all the time.
So there's no like incredible ironic joke involved with that company.
Look at the logo and read it for yourself. All right. So my whole career before the true crime thing was IT. Yeah, all kinds of different roles in IT, but I was a tech nerd, but I was in entertainment companies primarily. When the Cirque show closed, I kind of made this decision. I'm like, I don't want IT jobs anymore, and I'm going to go and start doing YouTube, and I'm going to figure it out and make something work there. One of the last IT things that I did was Cirque du Soleil had their networking equipment that was run into the building that was separate from the Oscars equipment. And they gave me a list and like, go pull this stuff out and bring it back to Vegas. I'm like, okay. So I go and I pull that stuff out. I get home. It's like 9 o'clock at night. My phone starts blowing up because they were prepping for the Oscars. And effectively, I guess one of the things they told me to remove killed the internet for the Oscars. So all the writers, the producers, that year was Seth MacFarlane was working on they just flipped out. You have never heard people that were so panicked, and it was crazy. So I wound up having to drive back in the middle of the night to fix the Oscars, to fix the internet access for the Oscars that I broke because of the information I was given about what to remove and take back to Las Vegas.
And you successfully reinstated the internet.
Oh, come on, Lance. Have you seen my technical prowess? Hold on a second. Let me show you.
No, oh, God.
Look, I am now Lance. I'm Lance Lord.
Oh, my God. Keep my face off your fucking face.
That's true. I didn't ask for permission. That's true.
I do just want to make one correction. You said you used to be a tech nerd back then. You're still a tech nerd.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. It's not a 4-letter word anymore.
Right. Oh, goodness.
So, John, tomorrow on Crawlspace, we have your friend as our guest. Her name is Christy Arnhart. You know her well.
I do.
Yeah.
We have worked together a long time.
Yeah. We get into the disappearance of Brooke Allensworth with Christy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know she's done a lot of work on that. And so tell us about how you feel about Christy and how you feel about us stealing her for an episode and all that.
It was awesome, honestly. Like first of all, I wasn't expecting it. Like I just wouldn't expect something like that to happen. But it's cool. I mean, she's been co-hosting on Case Cracked on my channel now for about a year and a half, I would guess, something like that. And doing her own TikTok stuff. It's been really this awesome path of seeing her become more active and kind of develop in this space. What I think of her, she's my right hand when it comes to Lord and Arts. She helps manage the community managers that we have. She's writer, producer, co-host on Case Cracked. She's associate producer on all my shows. Whenever we're doing our live streams, she's always there to help moderate them. She's been invaluable. She's been a great friend. And it really came from such a good place. I was just getting started and I was starting to get a little traction, to get a bit of an audience. And I had moved from California to Minnesota, and there was a lot going on around that time. And I was starting to just be wore down a little bit. I was just starting to seem kind of wore down. And she reached out, and I kind of knew her through the comments a little, but she's like, hey, just, want to let you know, you're looking a little, worn out. And if there's anything I could do to help alleviate, any of what you're dealing with, please let me know. And from that, it just kind of developed into, okay, well, help me a little with this, help me a little with that, help me a little with the comments, maybe do some research on a couple stories. And it just developed more and more and more until finally the channel was making enough money that I was able to start saying, okay, Christy, we're going to start paying you for these stories, paying you for your help on community management, stuff like that. And I'm proud on so many levels. It was kind of amazing at CrimeCon last year. That's actually the first time that Christy Arnhart and I have seen each other in person. And we've worked together for, I would say, probably like 6 of the 7 years that I've been active in this space. So that was a really, really cool moment. I remember her arriving and we're, kind of sending a text. And I'm like, are you here? Okay, well, can I come up and just say hi? And like the door opening and it's like, oh yeah, you're Christy. You're the person that I've been talking to. And, I've seen virtually all this time. It's just, it's been great. And I'm really happy that we're going to have her at CrimeCon this year as well. So you guys will be able to meet her there.
Very cool. Really excited to meet her in person. Yeah, we had a great conversation about Brooke Allensworth's disappearance. And I'm just so excited for CrimeCon. I literally cannot contain my excitement.
Yeah. Well, speaking of CrimeCon and award shows, I don't know if you guys know.
Oh, we're going to get the big exclusive?
Uh-huh. There is a new award show coming called the Clue Awards. It will be at CrimeCon, and it is for true crime content. And I am one of the judges for a category.
And we are
winning the
not nominated. You did not pay the money to be nominated. I feel like Lance is going to walk up and slap me now. Hold on. Let me see.
You're definitely getting charged. If
you're
presenting
repeatedly.
Yeah. Lance is going to charge the stage at you, slap you, and then he's going to go back and sit down, and then I'm going to charge the stage and slap you.
I'm going to charge the stage, slap you. Separately. I'm going to then go behind you and kneel down while Tim pushes you. And you fall over. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, one of those things.
It's a whole plan.
Yeah.
Well, just remember.
It's a play on the back of your knees,
Okay. Just remember on your acceptance speech, then you have to apologize for it and just do better.
Acceptance speech. Are we getting some inside info here? Should we perhaps be planning to attend?
I'll wear my velvet tux, John.
I'll wear my finest ball gown.
I don't think they're
my finest ball gown.
I don't think they're letting you guys in. You didn't get the tickets yet, did you? You didn't get the big gold, the big box.
Our own tickets.
I think they're in the
gold
still.
Trim.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Right. Yeah, we heard about it. Yeah.
But John, will there be sandwiches? We're gonna get sandwiches in bags.
You will get a free subscription to PI Gear.
Chips.
PI Gear.
I get some chips.
For only a 6-month subscription. And you have to give your credit card up front. You have to give your credit card up front, and you only get 6 months.
And those 6 months aren't even in consecutive order. It's just 6 months.
Oh, and they're not the new ones. They're the ones from a year ago. Yeah.
You gotta go to Philly to collect the 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
If anyone's been with us a long time, they may get some of these references, but
a lot of pent up emotions right now.
We're going into trauma over and over.
John, have you heard about this thing that's been happening with people that they've become disassociated with their own physical person because they've been spending too much time on Zoom?
Interesting. No.
Yeah. So, like disassociation or detachment from yourself, you feel like you can't, you don't have the motor skills to, your body is doing things your brain doesn't, it isn't controlling. And people are starting to experience outside of the Zoom world, their virtual world, that they're feeling detached and disassociated. Isn't that creepy? Wow.
It is. That is creepy. I mean, I know, I don't know.
It doesn't help? Putting someone's face on their own face.
What? Are you sure?
That doesn't help at all.
What do you mean, Lance?
You're not disassociated, Lance. You're over here.
You have no idea the damage that's doing.
You're you're double associated. Okay, there we go. I sensed that it was a lob. Yeah, he just wants to see it again, folks. Don't be fooled by any of this. He's just lobbing it up because he wants to see it again. I'll have a still that I'll send you, and you can print that out and make a poster for your wall.
Sure.
Lance, very important true crime news. I was recording Crime After Crime with Danielle Hallen this week. I don't know if you guys know, but she now has a farm in North Carolina. And on our Patreon specials, we have a farm update where she tells us what's going on with the farm. She's bringing in all these animals. She's rescuing lives all over the place. She told me she has just brought on 2,000 new animals.
Is it in the form of tiny insects that
Yes.
are?
Yes. She has joined Club B.
Oh, we need to have a bee cast with her. Oh, good for her. Are they Italian?
Yes. How did you know? What is it a thing? Okay, tell me. What is it with Italian bees?
Well, when you're first starting off with bees, if you talk to another beekeeper and they give you any advice, I believe the first bit of advice you're going to get is make sure if you have the opportunity to get Italian bees, get them. They produce really well. They're very gentle, and they're very they're not like the most robust bees, but they're very good in their own environment. They know how to. They're very adaptable, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And they do a very good job producing honey the first season, and also like the excess honey that you can take to sell.
Right.
And they survive the winter if you're able to keep them really, in good condition. But they also, again, are very gentle. So you'd be able to work with them, learn about them without being like terrified of them.
She said it was amazing because, when she basically let them out, she was like, it was so cool. Like they're not bothered by you. They just kind of fly out and they're doing their thing.
The only piece of advice I'll give real quick to that is not all bees are like that. We in New Hampshire, we got some bees that are not Italian bees. They were I believe like a hybrid or something.
Italian mobster bees, right? They were mobster bees.
Yeah, please tell me you did accents.
Yes.
Please say, hey, we don't like this side.
Hey, where's my
Jar
better
Jar
shoe
Binks.
go?
You're looking at my honey? Forget about it.
Forget about you. You've been stung.
I like Ginger
What am I,
Meadow
a
says,
clown?
I like French bees. Is that a thing too? Are there French bees, or is that a joke? I don't know.
I'm sure there's probably French bees.
There has to be French bees.
But let her know, just because the Italian bees are super gentle, if she gets like German bees are aggressive. German bees are aggressive. If she gets something that's not Italian, just have her make sure from the person she's getting them from, like the pack she's getting, like what level of aggression, because I walked right up to this hive thinking that they were like Italian bees. And they swarmed me. I mean, it was like, it wasn't fun. Like I was running like an idiot away from them.
Okay. Well, you're going to be able to tell her because she's going to be at CrimeCon too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. There will be bee talk at CrimeCon for anyone interested. Maybe we should get
Vegas bees.
Yeah. Maybe we should get a podcast room lined up. You guys could just sit up there and we'll record a podcast about bees.
Oh, hey, there's a market for it.
I'm sure there is. Have you checked out any podcasts? Oh, I'd love to see a name of a bee podcast. What do you think that would be?
Haven't.
I mean, Beecast. It's got to be
Beecast has to be taken, right?
I'm just looking up bee podcast. Let's see what comes up.
Do the bees
Beekeeping today?
Beekeeping today. Okay.
Oh yeah, 2 bees in a podcast. Honeybee obscura. Beekeeping short and sweet. Oh, this can't be right. Full release with Samantha Bee. Oh, Samantha Bee.
Oh, that's
I see.
Bee. Yeah. The Buzz. That was a good one, Jason.
Yeah. Ginger says stripper bees.
What?
That's Vegas. That's Vegas bees.
Yeah.
Are there Las Vegas bees too?
Yeah, I was going to ask, are there desert bees?
I would assume so, right? Well, I mean, it's tough because you got to find water. You have to find something to pollinate.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, I guess.
I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not.
Yeah.
But there's probably bees in Vegas.
Right.
Well, they're taking over the world, right? At some point.
God, I hope
they
so.
run the Mafia Museum.
The Italian ones.
The Italian.
Does anyone have any desire to go to the Mafia Museum?
Oh man, it's funny you say that. Was it the Mafia Museum, or do they have a different crime museum, or is that the same one?
I think
I
they
think
have
it
a
might
different
be the
crime.
same.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, I know there
Yeah.
is something Mafia Museum specific in Vegas, and I know there is crime museums.
Oh, in like Ohio, right?
I think it was
the big one.
Tennessee, Valley Forge, Tennessee. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mm,
So, do you have a desire to look at the history of the mafia?
no,
No,
I'm
right?
not. I'm not a gangster person at all. Like any of that type of content, it doesn't grab me. It never has. I think the closest thing to a gangster movie that I enjoyed was The Untouchables, and really, The Untouchables it's pretty much a straight up '90s action, or late '80s, I guess. I think it's '87.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not my thing. Like I don't, all the business dealings and ongoing and all that kind of stuff. No, I don't know. Never
So
grabbed me.
you didn't appreciate the Godfather 50 anniversary tribute at the Oscars the other night?
No. Honestly,
Oh,
I've never watched The Godfather.
What?
that's
Never seen
okay.
it.
Come on.
Never seen it. It's just not my thing. I don't know.
You think it insists
Well, how do
upon
you-
itself?
How do you say it's not your thing and you have never seen it?
That type of content.
How do
I mean, I've seen like pieces of it while someone else is watching it, or it's on TV or something like that. It just does nothing for me. I don't know.
Please say it insists upon itself.
What?
Have you seen Family Guy?
No. You know
Peter's
what? I don't like Family
Peter's
Guy
like-
either.
Peter's like, I don't like The Godfather. And they're like, what? How do you not like The Godfather? He's like, it insists upon itself. It insists
That's kind of
upon
funny.
itself.
That actually makes sense.
It's definitely funny. I mean, I get the joke, so it says something about it. I mean, the movies are long as hell, 3 hours long. They're about, like you said, business dealings. Is about who Consigliere. He's not a part of the family, but he hangs out. He's in all the meetings. He never gets
He's
close
Dutch
up.
American.
And
He
he's
was an
Robert
orphan.
Duvall. Yeah.
He was an orphan.
I mean, honestly, now look, I love Batman, but I still haven't seen the latest one. 3 hours, man. That's a long time to be sitting in a
But
theater.
you came on here raving about Spider-Man. Where do you draw the line, John?
Spider-Man.
Lorden?
Well, Spider-Man 2.5. Like, I'll give it 2.5. I think Avengers Endgame 245, somewhere around there. 3 is that's a big stretch, man. And from what I hear, Batman's going to be on HBO Max in like 3 weeks anyway. So I'm just going to wait.
I'll check it out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I blame
watch
Peter
it at home.
Jackson for the 3-hour movies. I still think it's his fault.
That's
I
another
blame
thing.
Francis Ford Coppola.
That's a debate for sure.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of great 3-hour movies. Like there just isn't. It's not a format that works very well.
Definitely none of Peter Jackson's.
No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of any of those either. Those I did try to watch some of the Lord of the Rings movies, and for me it boils down to people saying, "We're going to walk over here," and then once we get over there, we got to go walk over here, and then we got to go. There's a lot of walking. There's a lot
crying.
of scenes.
A lot of crying.
Yeah.
Of tears.
Yeah. I felt that way about Lost a little bit too. They kept going like, oh, we have to get to this side of the island. We have to find the hatch. And then they'd get over there and it's like, oh, we got to get back to the other side of the island. We got to pick someone up and then we have to go over here. Like there was
John
this.
Lorden, you just opened the goddamn hatch by mentioning Lost at 9:44.
That's it for the rest of this episode. We're going into Lost.
I mean, the major problem with Lost, the old TV show on ABC, was that the writers didn't know when the show was going to end. It's like, oh, well, we got to have a cliffhanger at season 2, so we get renewed for a season 3.
Well, and then we also have them
of terrible art.
We also have them lying from like season 1 on because everyone is like, oh, they're in the afterlife. No matter what, they are not in the afterlife. And then you have to wait 6 years and you're like, they're in the afterlife. Like what?
I got to tell you, I gave up in the 7th season. I almost made it through the final season. I couldn't. When Saeed came back to life, I was like, okay, sorry. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Stop it. Right. It was
Stop it. It's like episode 3 in season 7. I made it through like 80 episodes. I couldn't make it through another like 7.
By season 3, I was seeing the pattern of, hey, we're learning about this thing. And then when they came to the point of having to explain it, it would just disappear or they would have to go with something else. Like, smoke monster, Numbers terminal.
John.
Like everything would just kind of like, oh, now we're off onto this. Now we have to walk to that side of the island.
Yeah, they would have explained it if they got renewed for an 8th season.
There's a new show out there. I believe it's on Epix. It's called From. And we watched probably 4 episodes of it, and it's from the makers of Lost. And 2 episodes in, it's literally the same plot. Only instead of an island, it's just a town that no one can leave.
Well, have you seen La Brea?
No.
It's the same thing, man. I think it's actually got one of the writers from Lost. I think Damon Lindelof is working on it. But yeah, it's people fall into a giant sinkhole in Los Angeles, and all of a sudden they're transported back 10,000 years, and they're in this place where they have to figure it out. And there's another community, and they want to kill them, and then you find out that they can help them. Like it's Lost.
Tar pit? Do they fall into a tar pit in La Brea?
Yeah. It's all tied up. It's all tied up with the La Brea tar pits. That's like how they make the big discovery, because they see like a woolly mammoth when they, come to after falling through this giant hole in Los Angeles.
Oh my God. Get a new, like, get a new trick. Come on.
Like, wait, that's right next to the SAG building, the La Brea tar pits. Like, that like some people just like left a meeting there, and they were just like, oh, hey, let's, this thing's here. Let's just write something about this.
I got it. Lost meets the tar pits.
That's it. We're going to get lost in the tar pits
with SAG actors.
The other thing that's hilarious about it is anything memorable about the La Brea tar pits like has to come up in the show. I went to school out there as a kid, and La Brea tar pits was like a regular field trip. And really the only thing I remember about it, outside of seeing the tar and, the bones that they had sticking out of the tar, was they had this display of a saber-toothed tiger that was this weird kind of hologram. Like if you kind of step around it, you would see its, fur and everything. But I think you might have had to look through some goggles, something like that. And then all of a sudden you would see like its skeleton. And of course, by like episode 2 or something, they're walking through the woods and, oh, there's a saber-toothed tiger. It's just like, guys.
Good God.
Ginger Meadows says it's the pits.
Yeah, it's hilarious. We've covered a lot of culture tonight. What do you have coming up on your programming between all 27 of your shows?
Well, we've got a new episode of Crime After Crime that's dropping on April 1st, and that is going to be Crimes for Fame, which 2 really interesting stories. Danielle goes into the story of someone that is running kind of a little social media empire, convinces himself that he needs this particular domain name, and this other guy owns a domain name and won't give it up. So it turns into a home invasion / attack to try to steal the domain name. And in my story, there is a bomb that is found at a courthouse, and the bomb team comes in, starts working the case, and it just unravels until you find out that maybe the bomb was planted by someone that you wouldn't think would be the type of person to plant a bomb. And maybe they did it a bunch of times before. It spins completely out of control. So that's coming up on Crime After Crime. And right now for this week, I'm working on the John Shadden disappearance, which Jason, I don't know if you're still out there. Jason Watts actually brought to my attention. And it's a little bit of what I consider a touchy situation, because I've got many family members on one side that are asking for help. And based on what I'm seeing and hearing from them, the other side of the family isn't really asking for help, feels kind of resolved in whatever has happened and just want it, to kind of go away. But the fact of the matter is we still have a man missing, and, many family members that are looking to raise exposure and get some help with that. So yeah, that's what I got coming up. I did want to bring up something just as a conversation. I know that we've talked about it before. If I remember right, it was, I think I actually came on Crawlspace once and we talked about the smiley face killer theory.
Yeah.
And I just want to bring this up because it came a little point of frustration with an episode of Searchlight I released a couple of weeks ago. It was about a man named Alex Enslin out of Westchester Township, Ohio. And it was the night of the AFC finals when the Bengals beat the Chiefs. He went out with his roommate to a bar. They'd been drinking already, watching the game, went out to the bar, continued their drinking. Around 1 a.m., They get kicked out of the bar, and the details aren't really clear about why they get kicked out. They decide to walk home. They only live about a half mile away. And at some point, right in the middle of that walk, Enslin runs away from his roommate. And once again, details aren't really clear on what happened there either. Police did find footage of Enslin behind a Domino's pizza, but interestingly, it was kind of headed back towards the bar from where he had left his roommate. And that's the last they have of him. So I kind of picked up the case. I did my report on it. And then literally like the weekend after I released that, someone was walking their dogs by one of the ponds and there was a body in the water, and they found that it was Alex. So it was kind of, even when I was doing the coverage, I was like, this is one of those stories I'm kind of concerned about. Let's look for water sources on the coverage map. And there wasn't a lot of huge water sources. There's basically kind of scattered ponds in this area. Nothing like a big river like we usually see in these cases. No place where he had to walk over a bridge over that particular river like we see in so many of these cases. And he wound up in a pond that was like an artificial pond that was in the middle of an apartment complex, which his apartment complex also had a pond. They had searched that. And of course, they didn't find him there. He was in a different one. But the frustration I have with it is, I spoke to you guys years ago about the stats on this, and I'm just still racking my brain trying to figure out how do we raise exposure to that threat. The CDC reports that 80% of people who die from drowning are male. And we know that, young college age, and actually Alex was a little older. Alex was 30, but still in that range. Some of these guys are going out, they're having a little too much to drink. They're getting separated from their friends, and they're winding up in water sources. And I don't know. I've been talking to a couple of other creators about it. I just don't know. Like, you can't expect the bars to, like, even if we could print posters for every bar in that area that said, hey, be careful. Did you know the stats are this particular age range, males in particular, you're at risk of not making it home, winding up in a water source. You're not going to be able to put that poster up in a bar. So where do you get the entry point for getting that knowledge out there so people are aware of it?
Wow, what a great what a great question. What a fascinating exercise to wrap your head around, because I mean, it says something about why they're all male. What is it about the males that will cause them to drink too much and separate themselves from the group?
According to the information from the CDC, which there's no one solid answer, of course. They're looking at the risk categories, but they're saying that many factors might contribute to the higher rates of drowning among males, including increased exposure to water, which, like the smiley face killer theory, a bunch of those cases came out of my home state because we've got water sources all over the place here. We've got ponds, lakes, rivers. I mean, we've got everything out here. Risk-taking behaviors. So they're thinking, and, that might kind of explain the skew that we're seeing in age of it being kind of that college aged male that this is happening to. And then of course, alcohol use, and that affects not just guys in that situation, but, if you're out boating with a bunch of friends and, you party it up and then you go get on a tube and, lose hold of it or something and wind up in trouble in the water. So yeah, it's there's several different factors on it. Every year in the US, I'm seeing people are asking about the stats. In the US, there are an estimated, it's just shy of 4,000 fatal unintentional drownings, 3,960. And that includes boat related. So it's hard to kind of drill that down, but I'm bringing it up because I'm just seeing it with cases at least maybe twice a year. And that's just with the cases that I cover, and I only cover this much of the cases that are happening in the country. So I know that there's a good number of these cases, and it's just a constant little churn of it happens so often. It's a consideration with every missing persons case I look into, is like, especially if we're talking male in that age range, we're bringing up the map and we're looking at water sources. And unfortunately that outcome just happens way too much.
Yeah, it really does. It is a weird one. I would look towards risk-taking behavior as well, knowing what I was like in those years. Like, and I never jumped it off a bridge into a water like while drunk, but like,
Yeah.
I have friends who did. Like, I was there. I remember being there for stuff like that,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And Mullet Mayhem said females tend to buddy system more. And I believe that is, pretty accurate. And I think guys tend to encourage that risk-taking behavior more, whereas I don't think females would encourage a risk-taking behavior like that. They would tend to, like Mullet Mayhem said, buddy system more, like protect more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So protect your friends, God damn it, Jesus.
I mean, it really seems that simple, right? And the message could be that simple. It's just, what's the entry point? Like, where do you post that message? Even if you go to every college in the nation and, put up a poster somewhere, hey, just be aware that guys your age are at risk of this, don't leave your buddy. What's it called? An Irish exit. Don't pull the Irish exit,
right.
Yeah.
When you just disappear from hanging out and without any explanation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, just wanted to point out, I see Jason's in the chat. Yeah. John Shadden went missing in the same county as Brandon Lawson. That's how Jason kind of caught wind of that case and kicked it my way too. So that'll be coming out on Friday.
Well, great.
Yeah. And Jason says he's thinking of going to the location of John Shadden's disappearance.
Yeah.
That could be very good. Yeah.
Do it.
Definitely. Well, John,
I have one more question for you, John. Hold on one sec. I got to get this queued up.
You're not going to put my face on, are you?
No, geez, I would never do anything as cruel as that. Let's see. Where is it? You guys talk amongst yourself while I find it. Here it is. What is this from?
Is that
hard to see?
It looks like
because
it looks like me without a goatee. That's all I see right there.
Yeah, this is an image that floats out there when you Google your name. Not like I Google your name on a daily basis.
Do you see that? That's a uniform that I'm wearing.
Yes, you're like confronting somebody as a police officer or a security guard.
Yeah,
and you're angry. You're so angry.
Oh, it's about to go down. Actually, right after that moment, I grab him, throw him down to the ground, pull my gun, and then realize that he was in my class back in my childhood.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a wild moment.
Yeah, it was a student project. I believe it was for USC. And it was called Brown. And it is one of the acting gigs that I kind of took on when I had a good little run going, guys. It took me a while to like figure out how to audition and stuff. But after I got that, like I started getting just like role after role after role. It was all in little stuff, but oh yeah, there you go. Now you can see the scar on my face.
You're very angry.
Oh yeah.
Very
nice.
Very, very. I came across that picture and I was like, what is this? I needed to reveal it in front of everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was for a short, it had a pretty strong message, obviously, about racial tension. And right around the George Floyd stuff, I thought, you know what, I should try to see if I can get that film so I could release it in some official way. Cause it just seemed like there was an important point that was made by that film. And that was, gosh, I think that was 2014, maybe, when we filmed that, something like that. But unfortunately, basically USC owns all of the films that the students make. They have some pretty strong agreements with that stuff. I got close, but I couldn't quite close the deal to get an official release on that. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen someday. But yeah. So that's what it's from.
I'm so glad I got the explanation, because looking for this wonderful picture, which is out there,
yeah.
So amicable, I want to talk to you there. the other one, I was like, damn, what performance was this? Really wanted to see it.
It was kind of crazy because we did shoot it in this part of LA that wasn't so great, and it was at a real liquor store, and we shot like through the middle of the night on it. But yeah, honestly, of all the things that I did, it's probably the project that I'm most proud of. Like, honestly, I might even be a little more proud of that than the Netflix thing. Like, because it was just from a different place, and the message behind it was, it was kind of a bigger success, I guess, in my mind than that.
Well,
Interesting.
Whenever it's available for the public to see, I'd love to check it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know if I could talk about this or not, so tell me if I can't. But am I going to be seeing you guys soon?
Want.
Am I going to be seeing you guys soon out here?
Potentially. We cannot say for sure, but
Okay.
I think there's a good chance we're going to be visiting this summer.
Okay. Well, if Crawlspace visits this summer and we can get some of our friends from Minnesota to come along, know that I'll be sitting in the audience with you guys. Oh, audience?
Great.
Did I say? Uh-oh. I've said too much. Sponsored by PI Gear. Collect your free 6 issues on the way out.
Wow. Well, John Lord, I don't know where to go after we start talking about PI gear. Thank you so much for joining us here on Crime and Culture Live. And thanks to everyone in the chat room hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. If you're a John Lord and Arts channel subscriber and you haven't subscribed to Crawlspace yet, come on, just toggle your butt on over and click the button.
Hit the button. Absolutely. Here, I got a special message. Please subscribe. Please.
No. I gotta wipe my teeth off.
I know. You got great teeth here.
You have great teeth.
Your hair too. Look how good my hair is.
It looks amazing.
I'm Lance Lorden.
Lance Lorden. Probably the strangest way we've ever ended a show.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Yeah.